is the mask. So check off what you have done so far. Want to check in on like how everyone's doing, where you're at. Thank you, Raymond. And I'll post the link one more time as soon as everyone else gets in here.
Okay, so we have about half of the class here. So I'll still be letting people in, and I'll do my best to like copy and paste all this information for you too, Miss.
Okay, thank you. So thanks, Raymond. Thank you, Brian. Good morning.
So you're putting the link in the chat, right, Miss? So I like click that and then I get my points, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to sign in. I get my points.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm seeing people have their promise. Also, if you haven't finished your promise in the digital notebook, we are going to be sharing those and posting them in there today at the end of class. So get ready for that. It looks like a lot of people haven't finished their add-ons. Brian, I don't want to add any add-ons. Why not?
So the add-ons are part of your grade. So like that is like you do need to like construct, like you want your math to be unique and different. So it is kind of like a sculpture grade as well. Like we're kind of covering different art standards, like a grade in sculpture, for example. So like you want to create something that's visually interesting three-dimensionally outside of all this conceptual stuff that we're talking about with the promise. So that would be my answer to Brian, and I know he cares about his grade. That it's kind of like just part of the rubric. Morning, mister.
Hi, sorry I was late. There's traffic coming in.
It's okay. Just same thing. Like if people communicate with you about like questions and stuff, because you know it's a lot to do art in distance learning. We'll give them extra credit. So make sure, guys, you message Mr. Rivera. He is a co-host now.
Rachel asked, she said, Miss, I don't know what else to add. Like add-ons?
Right. Yeah, Rachel finished her mask like without, like before we gave further instruction.
Oh.
So my challenge to Rachel is to do a second mask. Like that would be my response to her, because your mask is so beautiful, but I don't know if it answers the conceptual question. So I would dare you, Rachel, to do a different mask. You could follow up and talk to me more about that later.
I agree. So it looks like most people have finished everything except maybe like the promise writing in the digital notebook and sharing, and your metaphor add-ons.
Yeah, so I'm just writing. This was asynchronous work yesterday, everyone, to like add on to your mask. That was what you were supposed to do yesterday. And that's a requirement that you do add-ons to the mask. So don't like leave and start adding stuff to your mask right now and not listen. Like we are gonna go over some important things related to color. Ms. Hibler has prepared a great lesson. And again, if you like need like a one-on-one check-in, please directly message Mr. Rivera.
Okay. Okay, so
Yeah, Gomez.
What would you suggest to students who are still working on their circle maps, maybe?
My suggestion to anyone who is behind is to use Miss Hibler's awesome checklist in here, which is also in the deck. And we will repost all of this to go ahead and like make goals about what to do and to scroll back and to look at other resources. But I wouldn't skip the circle maps because that's kind of like you planning your whole project and the meaning behind your mask. You can move forward and you can build the base of the mask without doing any thinking maps because it's just a base, right? And you can like be thinking about like how you want to change and the history you want to leave behind without doing the thinking maps. And you could do the whole mask. I would just say that it would really help if you did the thinking maps, and it would also help your grade. But we want to keep moving forward, right? We don't want to be stuck. So Miss, was that a good enough answer?
Yeah, I think that was great.
Okay.
So thank you to Jesus, Raymond, Brian, Martin, Ismael, Miss Copera, Matthew, Irvin, Wendy, and Rachel for answering our draw it. So yeah, hopefully you have your next steps pretty like obvious in front of you. So by now, we talked about this. So by the end of class today, you are posting again your promises and sharing them if you haven't done so already. So today we're going to be talking about color theory and like why colors matter in your artwork. And then we'll have some time for people to go into breakout rooms with Miss Copera and Mr. Rivera to talk about next steps if they're struggling. And I already know Jose's going to ask to be one of them. Then after that, we're going into a work session. We'll actually do acrylic paints. So have your stuff out and ready, your brushes, your palettes, your actual paints, a cup of water, and paper towel. Make sure you have all those ready so that we can all paint together.
Miss, can I add a supply?
Yes.
Guys, like liquid dish soap to clean your brushes. Okay, I'll say that again. Liquid dish soap to clean your brushes, right? Because it's otherwise all the brushes will be dead and then you won't be able to use them again. And if you have, I'm the worst. And if you have a dish bin, like, so I actually, I had one next to me, but like, just like a container, a big old container where you can put plates, that actually comes in handy, like to have next to you when you're painting, because you can rinse stuff. Okay, sorry, Miss.
It's a good idea. I don't have that. I'll show you what I do.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, a paper towel. Okay, I'm done.
Yes. And then at the end, we'll go back to writing our promises. And for academic prep, you'll post everything that you have and start painting your masks. So to begin, have you opened your acrylic paints? Have you done the color wheel?
Oh my gosh, this is so cute, Miss. You put the picture in there. I love it.
I'm glad you noticed. Thank you.
I notice details like that. The students, I don't even know.
So A, yes, B, not yet. I think like only 5 people have done the color wheel.
Yes, we gave a color wheel assignment for acrylic paint. Yeah, and a lot of you didn't do it. So okay, cool. So some people opened, some people didn't.
All right.
They were very expensive. And I need work from you guys to post on donors too. So please use them and please paint with Miss Hibler today. Please, please.
And cameras on for painting, everyone. Like we had a few, like last time we had a work session, you like pointed your cameras down at your desk and worked here. That was great. And then we can see like your techniques for like the basic things in art. Oh, that's great, Rachel. Oh, I think he means when was the color wheel assigned?
Oh, it was last week.
Async last week?
Yeah, it was week 15. Yeah, and the whole point of the color wheel, guys, and Miss Hibler is going to talk about this, but it's also practicing mixing acrylics. So we're kind of like reviewing the basics of color, because we did color last fall, and a lot of kids, again, didn't do the color wheel. Mr. Rivera, do you think there's such a thing as too many color wheel assignments?
No, I think it's always fun to play with colors. It's just me speaking from my own personal preference. Um, yeah, and it just helps you like moving forward. It's always cool to know stuff about colors, especially like if you're into fashion or if you like the way you look or stuff like that, or even helping others design like I don't know, put stuff in their rooms, it really comes in handy. And so many people are like clueless and lost and they don't know what to do when it comes to color. And then you can be that person with like a fly house or apartment eventually, wherever you live. I
Right,
think
because
it's cool.
you discover what colors go well together, right, mister? Like through exploring.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and so today too, and I think Miss Hibler would agree, is all about exploring. And in the async video, I do it with my 5-year-old daughter on the color wheel. We accidentally make flesh color paint. And we're like, whoa, we made skin tones. And I remember Sophie was like, how did we do that? So it's like it's about happy little accidents, right?
Oh, Russ, all day.
All day, all day. And Julia Child, happy little accidents. Okay, sorry, Miss, go on.
What's that? Okay, so I want to start off. I found this video. Sorry, wasn't what we were planning, but I saw this last night and I really needed to include it because I think it's great. It's TikTok.
Still lately I begin to shake for no reason at all. For no reason at all. For no reason at all.
Oh, I see. That's cool. Oh my gosh, that video changed my life. We have those white gel pens at school. That's why we gave you guys whiteout. It comes in handy. The whiteout. You can use the whiteout on your mask.
That's so cool. Yes. But you see like how they didn't go in with a plan really, but they like this is like really about color theory because they like go in, they said like watch me paint while I'm incredibly angry. Like you can see, and then turn kind of sad, but you can see like they use colors and like even before they added the faces and like the eyes and the tears, you can see how like the paints and the way they like applied everything onto the paper really like showed their emotion. So
I love that, Miss. Guys, so that can we paint that way for our promise, Miss?
yes, like imagine if you're painting like a way that you like if you felt angry and you wanted to express that on the mask, then you could do stuff like that. So going back to what Mr. Rivera was just talking about, that was like a great segue. How do we think about color in everyday life? What have you noticed about colors?
Ooh, for some reason I logged out. I'm going to log back in, and you should too, because only 1/3 of the class is in here. Dun, dun, dun. Who in here has Mr. Richards as a teacher? I was texting him earlier about a student. I'm going to start texting him now after I write about how I feel about color. Ooh, I love color. And all of the time. Is anyone in here, were you the kid that would like organize your crayons in rainbow order? That's me and Miss Hibler. Anyone else? Rachel, did you organize your crayons in rainbow order?
Yes, I organized mine in the order which the box had its own set of how it was set to be. So I set it in like that. I just looked at the front of the crayon box.
So you copied like the crayon order.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a sign of that. That's a certain kind of intelligence. That's like a certain kind. Okay, Nahara points. Rachel, you were gonna say yes? I think that's what she was gonna say. Points for me, points for Mr. Rivera. Oh my gosh. What is wrong?
Who says, I think about it all the time. Rainbows make me happy. I notice that there's an infinite amount of colors, and colors can be dark, medium, warm, cool. What do those mean? Maybe you learned about them, maybe you forgot. It is everywhere. It makes things more interesting and exciting. It brings life to dead areas. Yeah, like I feel like we don't notice colors enough in daily life, and then like when you do, you realize how they work together, and it's like after this lesson you're gonna go out and be like, boom, I see what this person did and like everything.
Come on, guys, where are your answers?
Brian said it adds emotions to everything.
Okay, cool. What kind of emotion?
Yeah.
Adriana, come on. I was talking to you and Miss A yesterday. This is part of your grade. Guys, this is part of your grade. Where are you? There's no wrong answer. Hit submit. Abraham, I know you want to do better. You said that. Where are you?
Raymond, color is used for everything. It's what makes the things we see as normal. People associate it with many things as well. Yeah, and we'll get into the details. Abraham said, I was there when you were talking to Adriana.
Oh, you were there too? This is part of your grade.
Your pod is graded. Rachel said, I feel like we see the world with color, but we can't really see the inside of people. But, ooh, that's true. But we all know everybody goes through things, and people are broken, and they represent themselves through dark colors like black and white, which is why I believe X-rays are also black and white. It shows us how people can most likely feel on the inside. Wow. You can see like Mrs. Like, what if like part of your mask was like an X-ray?
Ooh. Or
You're
like
giving yourself
inside.
ideas. Yeah, like
Inside of the, oh, I see.
I don't know.
All right, miss, we can't stay on this forever. Guys, hit submit, y'all. Oh yeah, go on.
Oh, I just like what Martin wrote. I think colors are an amazing way to see life. Colors are popular with moods, such as blue being weak or open. Even red could be associated with anger or passion.
Miss,
Yeah,
shout outs to everyone who answered. Sorry.
Yeah, shout out to Melanie, Rachel, Ismael, Brian, Martin, Raymond, and Jesus.
All right, guys. So write your thoughts about color in the chat if you didn't get a chance to, but come on, we're like, keep moving on. And this happens to me every year. People like people are like, when is the project due? When is the last day of school? So I'm going to say this without freaking out. Art is a big thing. You need to break it down into pieces. So the mask add-ons are due, right? So I think like we think we can do everything last minute, but no. So come on, like catch up, guys. Add on, Mr. Like when you're like explaining like that art isn't due all at once, you got to break it down. How would you explain it to kids?
It's not like a math problem where you can kind of just wait, maybe not math problem. It's more like an essay. I would consider art is more like an essay. It's like a composition, right? It's like you're putting something together. If you're writing an essay, which is something that everybody in this class has at least heard about, for sure, you know that you can definitely sit down and just write, but you might come up with something that does not make any sense, right? So what you have to do is, if you want to get a good grade, you got to plan it out, right? You got to find your quotes, you got to find your evidence, you got to write your intro, your thesis, put all that together. You know what I mean? And then you got to edit it, right? Is this sounding familiar to anybody? I hope so. But this is exactly how it is with art, right? If you just start, you might get somewhere cool, but most likely you're just going to end up with a mess. So it's good to plan. It's really, really good to plan. It's different if you have like an idea, then maybe you could mess around a little bit with freestyling, I guess. But even then, you have a plan, right? So it isn't really freestyle. There is a time and a place for sure where you can do whatever you want and express yourself however you feel is like, whatever you want to do. But right now there are guidelines and there's so much freedom within those guidelines. You know what I mean? So that's why we got to plan. We got to use this time efficiently and not be so, I don't know, loosey goosey.
Or like not participating. And just so we know, oh, here comes Mr. Richards. Ooh.
Go in trouble.
So just so we know, hey, Mr. Richards, thanks for hopping in. I was just saying, like, hardly anyone's on Nearpod. And I texted Mr. Richards, guys. I was like, I'm so sad. I am so incredibly sad.
Did they log in?
Yeah, but I don't know if they're here. I mean, like, look, like most of them don't log into Nearpod. Like I got no answer from Adriana, for example.
Adriana, we can just text Excubo, and since there's only like 9 soccer players, they'll have to forfeit their game.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
No soccer? Okay.
All soccer, because they barely have just enough players.
Oh, so we're gonna
now
cancel
she's
the
typing
soccer
it.
game. Oh, that stinks.
So she'll do work, because Candy will be highly upset if you have to forfeit soccer games.
Artemio's Candy?
Yes.
Oh my God, Adriana!
She's like the soccer superstar.
Oh no. Mr. Esquivel's gonna be mad about Nearpod and you.
Donna, what's going on, Donna?
She typed, she hit submit. She hit submit.
Michael Ponce, you have been doing like ridiculous, and you telling me you can't jump onto this Nearpod and actually do work? Joel, what's going on, Joel? Is Joel on?
I never hear from Joel.
Yo, Joel, you trying to play basketball or what?
A lot of the kids in here, mister, they don't do anything. Like,
Yeah, you got to put these kids on the spot. That's
well, I know, mister. I'm so sorry, mister. It's a class of 38.
No, I get it. But y'all need to be doing what y'all need to be doing. Joel, come on, man. Because as soon as you get back to basketball, you will be running, my guy. Anthony, what's going on, Anthony?
Maybe it's more like 34.
Anthony, Joel. I'm disappointed in you, Michael. Man, there's a lot of kids not even here.
Yeah. Abraham says he wants to talk to me about his grade, but then he doesn't do Nearpod.
Abraham, what's going on, man?
Well, I want to let Miss Hibler keep going with the lesson, but Mr. Man, I love this. You can come in whenever you want.
No problem. Can I send these kids messages? Hey, Miss, can you make me a co-host so I can send them some messages?
Okay.
And I'll shut up. Sorry, Miss Hibler, you can teach.
I love it. I love this. Okay, how do you make him a co-host, right, Miss?
Yes, I think it.
Just take me off if you need to.
No, I think it worked. All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll keep posting the Nearpod. I love it, Mr. Richards. You got me on my toes. Woo!
Okay. Yeah, people are submitting, but everyone's like, oh, I'm submitting. But we moved on like 5 minutes ago. We came back to this.
We got to be snappier. We can't spend like 10 minutes on one question.
Okay, so like we were talking about, a lot of you identified that we use color in daily life, deciding what to wear. Mr. went over how you can like decorate your room, your house, like cars, advertising, everything, like TV shows, movies, like all of these things in your life use color. So we know that like we understand that colors communicate feelings, emotions, but I think it's like deciding how to use those in your best interest in your work is kind of like the hard part. So let me split screen.
And like, Miss, I like how you said decide, because we need to make a choice. We need to like hit submit. We need to take action. We can't just wait, right? So one of the reasons why the mask add-ons were due is so you give it time to add, so you have time for it to dry, so then you can paint, because you need time between each steps. Okay, Miss, sorry, take it away.
And a lot of people, thank you for like also mentioning that, like a lot of people didn't finish their mask add-ons, so you need to have that done over the weekend. You were supposed to start painting over the weekend, but you're gonna have to let it sit out and dry again. So it's a lot of steps. Don't wait till the last minute.
Yes, don't paint on a wet mask. It should be completely dry.
So looking at like the basics of a color wheel, we can divide this line, like right here, I forgot to include that line, but so all of this we call warm colors, and all of this side we call cool colors. And red, blue, and yellow, you can also see like the less annotated version of this on slide 9. Red, blue, and yellow are called primary colors because no other colors you mix together can make these colors.
Miss, I have a question. Could they get extra credit if they take out their paints, not even open them, but just organize them based on the color wheel, and snap a picture, post to Seesaw?
Yeah, like get your paints out, like look at this color wheel and organize them like we were talking about with the crayons.
Like sort them in order, right? So you're kind of like thinking about which ones are the same, which ones are different, which ones are opposite. So Miss, opposite, if something's across from each other in the color wheel, that means it's an opposite, right?
Yes.
So orange and blue are opposites. Red, what's the opposite of red, guys? Right in the chat. I know, we went over this in the fall. What's the opposite of red? Write it in the chat. Yeah, Mr. Richards is basically like me, Mr. Rivera, Miss Hibler, and Jose Sandoval and Martin. And then like every like 7 days, Abraham. Right, what's the opposite of orange? Right in the chat. Look at the color wheel, guys. Are you looking at it? It's a cross. Blue, so Jesus Peraza. Adriana's here. Okay, what is the opposite of purple? Write it in the chat. Opposite of purple. Think Lakers. Okay, Adriana's here. Guys, everyone in here needs to understand the mask is your final. So yes, if you do the mask, your grade will go up. I'm getting some messages about that. It is your final exam. It's your final project. So I would do, those of you who are struggling with your grades and you're like, nah, I'm gonna fail. I would do the mask, I would do everything on time. And then once it's done, we'll talk about makeup work. But we wanna make sure you're set for the final. All right, sorry, Miss, keep going.
Thank you, Miss. So going into like actually figuring out how colors work together, I'm gonna split screen. All right, so on Nearpod, we're going to be responding to the question of what mood or energy these colors might communicate. Just take a guess. We have a collaboration board and comment on like what draws your eyes. What like do you focus on like when you first look at this image? And since you all have like seen, you've all talked about like the warm colors, analogous colors, cool colors, complementary colors, which means like across from each other. So like right about in this image, like where do you see those happening?
Oh, and the more I write, Miss, the more points I'm gonna get?
Yes. Oh, we got an extra person on your pod.
Woo, we're up to 19. 19 out of 29. Yes, I'll take it. Miss, can you switch it so we can see the names so I can give them points?
Yes, we can.
Oh, I got it. Okay, points for Brian. And
yeah,
extra points if they unmute and they explain why. Please explain why. So if this color shows hope, explain why. So what mood energy do these colors communicate to you? Brian says hope.
Are you saying that because you know what the comic is about?
Yeah, it's the color, right? It's not like the content of Star Wars. Where'd everyone go? I'm writing about these colors, right, miss, on your screen?
Yes. So this first one, maybe you could like kind of annotate along with you. So what I first see when I look at this is this person in the front, but that's not only because she's in the front or because of her stance. It's because of the color they use, like to make her pop out, right? Like looking at all of these, like if you took like a dropper and took all these colors out, you get like all these warm colors and then like this like light white, like blue hue that she's wearing. So like wanted her to stand out, not just by being in the front, but also by using a cool color, which contrasts the rest of this. Okay, shows confidence. I think you're talking more about her stance. Let's focus more on the color use.
I feel like they've been through a lot looking at those colors.
Yeah.
Like it's dangerous. Like I see warm colors and it's like heated. Like when Mr. Richards came in here, it was like all warm and fiery. And I was like, ah! So Mr. Yeah, when you ask the question, like, what could they do to do better in the class? Like, this is a great example. Like, you know, cognitively, like being with us in the moment. And obviously doing your projects, guys.
Oh yeah, it separates the drones, like the background from like the figures in here. Like this even is a lighter warm color than these. Looks fiery. The warm colors, Jesus says the warm colors used are yellow and reddish orange, and there's a brown, which is a dull color. Abraham also made like a similar point about warm colors being red, yellow, and orange. Cool colors are like the blues. Okay, I think this is a better image maybe for you to respond to.
So we keep writing.
Yes, we have a few of these.
Okay. Ooh, a lot of chances to get points. Ooh.
That was like the introduction. So now you see like how he's pointing out colors and like how those different ones stood out. Even this one has warm, cool colors. So point out which ones are the warmer colors, which one are the cooler colors.
Oh, I'm not following instructions.
Oh no, this does communicate like love, passion, summer nights. It's like very sunsetty.
When moon energies. Oh, but these are warm. Okay.
Sorry, there are several questions in the one question.
Oh, what draws my eye? Okay, I'm gonna answer that one to get even more points.
Someone has to go back. Just if you were still typing, sorry I moved on, but just
You gotta hit enter right away, guys. Or you can always like type in the chat too.
Finish your thought in the chat.
So Jesus says my eye goes everywhere since it's so colorful. Does it though? Or does your eye move in one direction? I just wonder, like, is there more of a focal point? But
Why not?
Jesus is answering one of the harder questions. Sorry, miss, go on.
Yeah, that is hard. Jose said no, like why not, Jose? Raymond said the pink and the angle, it looks like it's in. Jose says the focal point for me are the dark colors. I actually thought the opposite. Like my eye was drawn especially to this pink and orange because it like stood out against the darker colors.
Oh, miss, miss, do you think that means that different colors have different meanings for different people? And
yes,
different impact on us?
Yes. We'll see later, like that's a really good point because we see like how people have like this guideline of what colors are supposed to represent, but we also have like different associations in our mind So it's really like about how you interpret it. So you can use whatever colors you want in the mask. You don't have to use red because that means fire or anger. Like you can use different other colors to express the same things.
Right. So like, does blue have to be sadness?
No.
Right?
It could
Blue
also
can be something else, right?
Mhm. Gray.
Yellow can be like sadness for you. You know, like joy can be green for you. So like colors mean different things for different. So start to think it's like, well, what do I want to put in my mask? And again, if you have a clarifying question, Miss in a second can put you in a room with Mr. Rivera and I. Sorry, Miss, I feel like I'm slowing down your class.
No, I think that was a really important point I forgot to make. Sam said serene. Yeah, but like look at this. Sam said serene, but Brian said parties. So it's really like about the background that you see, like you might have in association for these colors specifically. Rachel was saying, I said it showed protection because the white usually symbolizes good and protection. That's why they use it for God and heaven and guardian angels. And the browns represent that they've gone through a lot, but they are back and up and keep fighting, which is why it's not black, because black represents darkness, loss, and giving up.
What are the questions you have to ask, Jose? You want to be in a room with Mr. Rivera? Okay. Is that okay, mister? No one else messaged you to be in a room? Guys, why aren't you like leveraging Mr. Rivera? Okay, keep going, miss. Sorry. I'll fix
Okay.
that.
Maybe I'll make this the last one. I don't want to lose everyone. So looking at this, if you watched Avatar, you might recognize the scene. But not like thinking about the scene, just thinking about the colors used. So we have like these orange, reds, and then like blues and dark colors on the outside. Ooh. Miss, should I do that? And everyone else keep.
Yeah, maybe just put Jose and Mr. Rivera in a room real quick.
Everyone else.
So
Expecting everyone else.
what mood does orange and black communicate? So what are some examples of moods? Like frustration? Mr. Rivera, what are some examples of moods? Jubilation, depressed.
Yeah, like frustration, depression. I mean, the easy ones are like anger, happiness, sadness,
Uh-huh.
elation, joy. I don't know. It's hard to think of when you're on the spot. You know.
Yeah. That's
There's
why.
so many.
So like,
Right.
oh, I want, and like black doesn't need to be like one thing. Like black can be a ton of things. Like for me, when I think of black, I think of truth. Is it okay if it's not a mood, miss? Like, can I just do a word?
Yeah.
Colliding thoughts. Oh, that's good, Rach. So, miss, would you say it would be good on our mask to have like a lot of opposite colors? Colors that are opposite in value, colors that are opposite in chroma.
Yeah. Like you can go back to the color wheel. I do this a lot. Like I just have a color wheel hanging up in my room. So when I'm starting to think about how to color something, I'll like look and see like what colors go together, because you have to consistently be thinking of that and practicing it to get good at it. And like how, if I say I want to use like red and green, how do I like avoid making that look like Christmas? Or like purple and yellow. Like what if I don't want it to look too tacky? Like what other colors can you add in there or mix to maybe like lighten these colors so that it doesn't like really like hit you in the face when you look at it?
So the more paintings I do and the more I explore colors related to my promise, the more points I'm going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So I could do my mask and get like full credit on that. And then I could go back and really like keep exploring acrylic paint and really use that to raise my grade.
Yes.
Okay. So if I show like different values, different colors, if I really show that I'm exploring that paint, oh, cool.
Yes. Let me stop share for a second.
Yeah, everyone keep typing on Nearpod. So, Miss, can they like maybe write a few ideas about the colors they want to put in their mask and why?
Yeah, you should have your like paint brushes, sketchbooks, your water and soap, paper towels, like all of the things we were listing earlier out.
Can I just have a color because I like how it looks on my mask? Like, does everything need to have a meaning?
No, I think it's like fair play to have like a color that you like on your mask. But also you should be thinking about how you can create visual interest and how you want colors to work together.
Mm-hmm.
As you're like, that's why we make a color draft.
Mm-hmm. Miss, could I do a painted color draft if when I'm playing with acrylics right now? I really like it.
Yeah, we will be doing that together today.
And we're gonna have 10 minutes to talk about how cleaning brushes, right?
Yes.
That means we have 15 minutes to paint.
Okay, yeah, this slide, I just wanted to, like what we were talking about earlier, like these aren't clear rules of color, they're guidelines that like people often use, like obviously green like represents nature, blue can be trust, peace, loyalty, even sadness, some people say. But like if you don't agree with that, you don't have to use the colors to represent those things. You just need to be able to talk or write about what those colors actually mean to you.
I'm taking a picture of this. This is so good. Oh, I did. I already took a picture. Wait, can you go back for everyone? Like, this is good. But I don't have to agree with this. Does this, do these rules fall like when we're like reading an essay or something, reading The Great Gatsby, and they're talking about the green light?
Yes.
Yes. So these were like this, like these rules are common, but you can break them. That's what we're trying to say. Like colors have meanings, but you can bend it based on your personal experience. Okay, I'll be quiet.
I like that. Break the rules. Art is about breaking rules sometimes.
Are you all there? Write in the chat if you're there. I feel like you left.
Abraham says, I'm here.
So
So
make sure you're, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, at this point, I was planning on having people choose colors here.
Is it a draw it?
It's not. I was going to make it a draw it, but maybe in your sketchbooks, you could just like get some paint, like open the tube of paint and just like, so like I have this sheet of paper here and say I want to use red, then maybe you can like squeeze like a little line out just to like symbolize like I'm using red. Since we don't have a draw it. And that also forces you to be opening up your paints. So what colors are you going to use in your mask when you paint? Raymond says I'm here. Michael says I'm here.
But will they turn their cameras on and show us that they're painting?
Yeah, we should be getting ready our materials. Getting ready. And Brian.
Okay, guys, we can say cameras on here, right?
Yes, we're going into our work sessions, I think. Cameras on. That's good.
Cameras on, show us your painting. Guys, make sure that you're all set up and please make sure, know that you can use the back of the blue brushes or like an old pen or a sharp pencil. Actually, I would use one of the sharp lip pencils to open them because Miss, their paints have like a silver thing. So they'll like take the top off and it has a silver thing. It may take them a second to open it.
Yeah, then get that ready while you're like listening and watching this video.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Yes, this is about how to clean your brushes.
Yeah, you guys are gonna need to explain. Do we write in the collaboration board how to clean brushes?
Yes, so there's a collaboration board open now. You're gonna watch the video. What is Miss doing? Like, what are the steps to cleaning your brushes? List them, and why are they so important? Okay.
Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. We're working on like how to clean our brushes right now. Make sure you have an open sink, okay, with a lot of water. And it is like such a mess here, but no, we're not going to pour a ton of dish soap. But I wish I had more water. Max, don't put the paintbrush in your mouth. No. I don't pour. Okay. Did you put that in your mouth? Okay. So guys, another thing too, like working on art at home, you gotta keep stuff away from your siblings. So I put dish soap in my hands. Okay. You want to clean each brush by rubbing. I have a puddle of dish soap in my hands. I'm taking it. Max, don't drink that. Don't drink that. So you like, you know, the challenge with doing, don't cry. And it's okay. We can have crying on YouTube, right? Okay. So it's okay, sweetie. So what you want to do is you want to rub each brush.
Yeah, so like what's Miss doing at this point? Like you can see like her hands open, she's poured soapy water. Yes, I hope we all know she's cleaning her brush.
But how? Like that is the thing, because I see children murder brushes and I call them brush killers. Don't be a brush killer. So I need you to really look here and explain how, because acrylic kills brushes. And you also have to put the top on your paints. Always put the top on. You'll lose those little white tops. They like go under the table.
Yeah, good point. Raymond says she's getting paint out of the brush by putting a little bit of pressure. Like she's kind of pressing it down. So she put soap in her hand. That was like step 2 after pouring some soapy water in this bin. Put some soap in her hand. Now she's like cleaning the brush in the palm of her hand.
Now, Miss, can you show us on your hand like how to do it and describe what you're doing? What do you not do? What do you not do?
You don't want to like stab it into your hand and like mess up the brush tips, because these are really like delicate. Your brush tips are pretty delicate. They're just like synthetic hairs, you know? And you don't want to bend this, and then like this part can break. Like it's just held on by glue, especially like on cheaper brushes. So like you don't want your brush head to just fall off, and then you'll be painting with this little tip of a brush and like holding it with like 2 hands, 2 fingers.
Yeah. So make sure you're like, why don't I have a paintbrush by me? But like, Miss, show again, demonstrate that again. You're pulling.
Yeah.
She by me because I was painting upstairs.
Pull, push. So like rubbing it like gently. So like this gets like the stuff out of the fibers.
Pull. So watch, because I'm going to ask for these brushes back. I'm going to find you junior year and be like, where are my brushes? Right? And you want to keep rinsing. I wish I had more water. I'm downstairs away from a sink. But you want to keep rinsing until there's like no water. Guys, I really hope that you're watching this. You may be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not putting paint on my hands. But there's something about the texture of your skin, like the oil in your skin, that is going to help to get the paint off. That in combination with the soap, right? So actually like putting that gentle pressure and love with your hands actually extracts the paint off. Okay, I'm done.
So far, we've only gotten responses on Nearpod from Martin, Brian, Oliver, and Raymond. Yeah, Martin said that's good to know. Like, we need to know that you're listening, because we don't have anyone with our cameras on. We don't have anyone communicating with us. So, like, list the steps. It may, like, seem silly, or like, I know how to clean a brush, but you need to get, like, every bit of acrylic paint out of the brush or you're going to ruin it.
Yeah, and we've had watercolors since the beginning of the year, and I've never talked about cleaning brushes because it's easy. Just shake the brush. This is different. Acrylic is plastic. You're painting with plastic. At all in the brushes, right? So ideally I should have more water in here, right? And I should have more paper towels down here. Okay. So, and then same thing with the tray, right? So I kind of like, I'm getting most of the paint out, right? I got a lot of soap in my hands, right? So I'm checking, and a lot of the paint's coming out. I'm also managing my son as you guys are at home. And this, I can't find the top. So you want to put all your trays in and fill it with water. You want to fill it with water, okay? More later. Obviously have like more of a rag in it. Okay, so no one has like explained in a complete sentence what to do. Raymond's almost there. But it's like we really like the full sentence. So Miss, I would say an edit for this lesson would be to give a sentence frame.
Mhm.
You know, in order to effectively clean brushes, you should blah, 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 blah. First you should, second you should. You don't want to blah, 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 blah. So it's like a clear expectation. But this is something that I wouldn't have done either, but just like thinking out loud. All right, and why did I say that out loud in front of you guys? Because you guys aren't writing incomplete sentences. Okay.
Okay, so we're going into paint time. I hope everyone understands how to clean their brushes, how to take care of your stuff.
Yeah, just describe in complete sentences, Martin, how to clean brushes.
I don't know why it's so zoomed in.
Oh, Miss, you added the new, so this is where we go if we're done with our add-ons. It's already in here.
Yes, so the step-by-step of like, you can sort your colors like we were just talking about. You have all these different values of paints, and then like actually painting the mask, starting with the warm light values, skin tones, cleanup video again, and then like adding on. This goes back with cool colors, and then adding the mosaic jewels or flowers or whatever else you're using.
Yeah, and that would be like the last step. And I would break down warm colors and cool colors into 2 different work sessions. So camera on and we should be painting?
Yes. I'm also going to set up my camera so that you can see me painting. So everyone else, hopefully you have your materials out. Miss, would you mind putting in the chat all the materials they're gonna need?
Oh yeah. So you should have brushes, your palette, your acrylic paints, a paper towel, a cup of water, dish soap, and then if it's optional, if you have it, you should have your sketchbook because we can paint in our sketchbook, right?
Yes.
That's it, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, water, soap, brushes, paper towels, paint, palette. And we should paint through into academic prep, but we should have our cameras on right now if we want any points, right?
Yes. Also, if you're wearing like a nice shirt or like white that stains, take it off.
And what are we painting, Miss? Like, oh,
I don't miss if people haven't done their
color wheel?
yes, should they be working on that?
Yeah, so if you guys never did the color wheel, you could go ahead and click the link. I will look for it and I will drop it in the chat. And you can work on that through academic prep. I really would do that because it's great practice. But the thing with the color wheel, one of the goals to point out is you're trying to have different values and tints. So you need that white cup of paint. Once you've done the color wheel, you can go crazy. You could paint a color draft of your mask, or you could just do a painting of a face or an eyeball or anything showing that you are exploring your acrylics before you paint your mask. Ugh, I would love that. right? Because so much of art is getting used to other materials and taking risks and really exploring them. And try not, and one of my points with the color wheel video, which I'm dropping in the chat right now. Sorry.
Oh, I just posted it in the chat as well.
Okay, yeah. So she put in the chat is that
Don't drink that. So you like
to not use like too much, to have different values. A lot of kids did this assignment and they didn't watch the video and they didn't get the point of the assignment. The point of the assignment is to have a full range of values while you paint, and you're practicing mixing. So we really want to see students that are practicing mixing, not just out of the tube. Yes, you can have colors out of the tube, but in your mask, we want to see different values, and we get that from the color wheel assignment. And then after that, you could go big and do more. Okay, Miss, I'll be quiet.
Miss, do we need to bring Mr. and the 2 students back, or do they message you at all?
Can you come back? Yeah, I've been texting him.
Okay.
I think they're talking a lot, and I'm recording this session, so we could YouTube it.
Okay. So let me share iPhone.
Amazon, you're painting. How many add-ons do we need to the mask? You need about 5, but it could be small, like one ear, that's 2, right? A mouth, that's 3. You got 2 horns, 4, 5. But like, you know, it could be different. You could have a horn in the middle. You could have a beard. Ooh, this is exciting.
Okay, so I have my paints. And I'm gonna get them all in order. So I think we have very similar colors.
Yes, you guys do.
So we have like, I'm gonna start with like the coolest, darkest color here. So that's going to be like the purples and then blues.
Michael, you would paint the color wheel because you haven't done the color wheel yet, right? So that was an async assignment last week. So in the video, in the color wheel video, like we talk about different colors. So sometimes it's about like choosing which colors. So right now, like narrating what you're doing, Miss, I could see that you want to do something with cool colors. So you're taking out all those colors that are on the cool side of the color wheel. Oh, you're organizing them.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's
So
a
like
little
organize them. Yeah, you could put them in order of color wheel, right? And kind of organize it like a color wheel. Take a snap, put it on Seesaw, right? So I could give you partial credit or like credit, some studio credit, but I really want you to have your cameras on. Okay, so I know you're even there. Like, I don't even know if you guys have your paints out. I don't know. So I can't give you any sort of art studio credit unless you have your cameras on. So you're kind of sorting, you're thinking about what you want. So much of art is getting organized.
I have like the cool colors in a top line and warm colors underneath.
Miss, can you click bring back for breakout rooms? I don't know why I don't have option.
Yes.
Oh no. Dun, dun, dun. Zoom drama.
Wait, Christian. Did Christian ever join?
Maybe he did. He should have.
Okay, he left once then. Okay. So I actually haven't really thought of, I made a new mask design, so I haven't thought of exactly what colors I'm going to use, so you will see me like trying to figure that out. But first I'm going to just do a rough sketch of my mask. And this you can like just use facial proportions for. So I have like that center line. This goes back to our self-portrait unit. And then like about the middle is where the eyes go. So like right here. And then halfway between here, everyone's like, oh, not this again.
Yeah, but they, this class did really great at following you live, right? And doing these little skits. So I hope they're doing it. So I'm giving points to Martin, camera on. Martin, I'm using the happy pen. to give happiness to your grade. Camera's on. Martin's the only one who gets that assignment unless someone else turns it on.
Thank you, Martin. So I'm drawing in like the kind of eye I want here. And then on this side in my draft, I have like this eye closed. And this is all kind of going to get covered up by the acrylic paint, so I'm not going to focus too much on the detail.
That's a good point to make, Miss.
Yeah,
They're all good points, but yeah.
I was about to.
Light guiding lines, right? We're
Yeah.
focusing on painting. And just to reiterate, they can follow the color wheel video that we put in the chat.
Yes, you can like mute us on Zoom and then like go watch the video of the color wheel on your own. So in my draft, I also have like these add-ons. So I'm gonna draw those in because I also want to add some colors to those.
Brian, Mauricio, you understand that for the assignment for the color wheel, you're supposed to use the paints, right? So guys, make sure you click the video.
Yes, I feel like everyone forgets that you have to open links. So make sure you're like clicking on links that we send.
Rachel, I love your mask. Martin, I love all your planning. It's looking good, guys. Great plan for your mask, Brian.
I'm drawing in like the add-on symbols that I would use. Sorry, it's hard to talk and draw, isn't it?
It is. This is what I've learned by doing these YouTube videos.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
It's really hard. Sometimes you have to do voiceover after.
Yes.
Because it's like two different parts of your brain.
Yeah, I'm also like changing my draft as I go. So I had like these links on the side. And this is actually like a positive metaphor for me. Like links, sometimes they look like chains, but links can also symbolize like a connection.
Ooh, I like that.
And I still like that melty effect, even though that looked like a beard the other time I drew it. So I'm gonna try that again, paints, adding color and see how that works. And then maybe like if you have wiry and like I was making this, I would like do an add-on here where it looks like it's actually dripping. And yeah, okay, I keep trying to focus on the details, but we're painting this. So thinking about color. I think, well, definitely you would need white to like lighten things up. So I would use that. And this is, I think I'm gonna make this kind of like the negative side that I want like melting off. And for that, I would use like a very dark blue and maybe some light blue. And maybe yellow looks good to me mixed in with the blue, and I'm also going to use that on the positive side. So got blues and yellows and oranges, and like this, I have yellow ochre, which I actually used to not like that color very much, but I've grown. It looked like such a yellow brown that like I realized that you can use it in a lot of things. So if you like don't like a color, you can like mix it up with other colors to kind of make it your own color.
So everyone, you're doing this now. Like I'm getting these messages like, do we do this now? Like, yes, it's art class. Yes, you do art. I know.
Okay, awesome. if you already did the color wheel, you could be doing your practice painting your draft with like actual acrylics. Someone asked, how many colors do we need?
Ooh, I haven't thought about that, but what I have thought about is I want cool colors, warm colors, and different values. So you can see like with this, like this is an acrylic painting behind me. It's not the best thing, but there are lights, darks, warms, and cools.
So
Right?
this would be like a value scale. And like even mixing in, like say just do this and like mix these two and then just use this and add like maybe a darker red.
Yeah, you want a range. You want to like different like lights, darks, mediums. What we see a lot, Mr. Rivera, is everyone will like paint their mask one color right out of the bottle. And it's just sort of a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really boring. I don't know if you'd ever try, or you can try mixing like on top of the mask if you feel like you're really good and you know which color you like it, and it could give it like some interesting shades, I think. But I would really try to do something that's not basic. Don't be basic, be extra.
Yeah. And what's great about acrylic, mister, is that if they could just paint over it. Like they could paint it.
Exactly.
Yes. So it's like you may not like something, it dries then very quickly. That's why acrylic kills brushes, and you can edit it later.
I just realized it's already 12:40.
I know this is awful. I mean, it's not awful. You are great. You are perfect. You don't want to keep painting this? We could have a lunch session where some kids stay.
All right. Well, kids stay.
Mister will probably go. I'm going to go upstairs and drink some water. But
Yeah.
I'm going to keep recording it. And you can invite some kids to stay and we could put it on YouTube too. But I know like if you just got your paints out and you're like, okay, I like Miss Hibler. She has a nice soothing voice. I'm going to stick with her. You know, then you're going to like keep painting and then you'll be able to post this to Seesaw. Right? Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Please stay, guys. The expectation is that your mask is done, the add-ons, and thank you so much, Mr. And you are beginning that process of adding color to your mask. There are videos in the deck. And Miss Hibler is so awesome. She made us think intensely about color, and she's going to keep talking out loud. If you want to stick with her during lunch for a little bit, she will keep talking out loud about her thoughts. And Miss, I hope you'll model that a lot of white is a good thing, right?
Yes. Also, a little bit of acrylic goes a long way. I wish I said that earlier before people started logging off, because it breaks my heart to see people like pour out like half the tube and then like not use it, and that just goes all to waste because you can't really save acrylics.
Can you sometimes mix acrylic with water if you're doing an underpainting?
Yes. They dry fast. That's true too. There is office hours 2:30 to 3 today.
Who asked that? Abraham?
No, Raymond.
Oh, Raymond, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. He said they dry fast. That's so true.
Yeah, and the reason I gave you a cup of white is because you need a lot of white. Okay, well, Raymond, why don't you ask the questions now as Miss Hibler is painting? You got our attention now.
Yeah, just unmute. Jose says extra credit, my boy. Listen to Jose. I unfortunately have to go. Okay, I guess we'll see you for questions during office hours then. Date with the bank. Nice.
Well, everyone needs to know that you need to post acrylic work to Seesaw. Miss, I invite you to keep painting. I bet you you got 22 people.
So I see Martin working.
Yeah, and Martin's working, so that's great. Miss, you don't mind staying for a little bit longer?
Yeah, not at all.
I'm probably going to go upstairs and edit my Nearpod on the other computer, or I might come down here and do it. but I'll be back or not. If I'm not here, I'm like upstairs editing the Nearpod for Advanced Drama.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Okay. And I'll make you host. Oops, I stopped your video.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Sorry. Okay, keep going, miss. I'll stop killing your flow.
Thank you, Miss. So for this part, I think I'm going to start with like a skin tone kind of color because that's a little challenging and I feel like people might want to include that. So for that, you're going to start off with a lot of white. And I'm just going to use the center part. You can use like any divot in your palette. But you're also going to want to add some orange. And I just kind of like, if you want to take a closer look, I just kind of scoop with my paintbrush. Some people dip. And some yellow. Yellow ochre also works well with skin tones. And then some darker brown. And then we're going to mix, mix, mix. Mix all that together. And when I'm mixing, I don't really like to like dip like my whole paintbrush into the paint because that makes it harder for cleanup. So I kind of try and avoid that, but it's not a big deal if you do. And I think I might have gone a little bit too orange. So to counter that, I'm going to add some more yellow and then yellow ochre because it's more of a muted tone. And then mix, mix, mix. And then it's kind of turning peachy. So I've used yellow, orange, red, yellow ochre, brown, and lots of white. And then obviously if you want to make it darker, you can add some more dark brown. And then I'm going to go and add the rest of my white because I think it needs it. And then maybe some more dark brown. And sometimes what I do is I'll make different tones with the paint I have. So I'll like scoop some onto the side over here. And I want to have different values on my face. This also goes back to our portraits. Maybe this could be your portrait. That'd be kind of cool. A mask portrait.
Really?
Yeah.
I could like do a portrait right now and then I can oh.
Two birds, one stone, guys. So getting more dark brown for that like darker tones where the shadows might fall on your skin. And I'm also going to get some dark blue and see how that goes, like just a little dot. And that could be like my super dark values. Like on the sides of the face and like on the neck, but or like maybe if you want to do like dark circles under your eyes, that could be interesting.
Ooh, that's pretty.
I like it. Paints are so cool because you can just kind of, you make your own colors and it's really soothing to like just mix. Like I forget that I need to keep talking. Okay, so I added some yellow ochre to like make that a little bit more of a skin tone. And like you can see like the different value between here and here. So maybe I'll even like mix it in a little bit more. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of scrape off the paint from the side of my brush like this. And then I'm gonna go back into my lighter value. I'm just gonna apply that, finally applying it to the paper. Okay. So exciting. Ooh. That's so cool. Okay. So I'm kind of like working from the outside in, like getting in like the border of the mask. And you can also, I'm kind of seeing it, it's like kind of dry on paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and like dip my paintbrush in just a little bit of water. And then like tap it, scrape it on the side. and then get it back in here and mix it with the paint so the paint like spreads a little bit more easily with the water. But just a little bit, you don't want it to get like runny on the paper. And then I'm gonna go back and kind of like blend that in. And I'm keeping the eyes blocked out so I don't want to paint into the eyes. Okay. So kind of just spreading it out using long brush strokes. And I'm gonna add a little bit more water into my paint. Not too much. Just make it a little bit more spreadable. I'm actually gonna paint over these links just because I want to get under everything. And I'm doing the border first, just so they have that like blocked out. Adding more layers, and it's like a very smooth application, just going back and forth. Very nice and soothing. And I'm getting in the different values already because I have like all this range of value. So here, adding color around the eyes. And it's okay if you paint over some of the facial features because acrylic is really good to layer with. And paint, paint, paint. Oh, I might be running out of paint. But that's okay, we can always mix more colors. Okay. So I'm still filling in the rest of the page, just layering the colors, painting the whole section that I want like covered in like that skin tone color. And just moving my paintbrush around. It goes by pretty fast because acrylic covers a lot of the page very smoothly. Okay, and now maybe I'll go in with like my darker values with like the darker browns that I made and kind of like block in where the shadows would fall. It's kind of starting to look like the sun. So I'm getting in the darker values, so I have a range of values in just like the skin tone. So skin is not flat. And probably around like the eyelids, you'd have some darker values.
Oh, nice.
It kind of looks like the sun. Not against it. Okay.
Miss, would you make some lighter values later and add in highlights?
Yes, I think I would go back and do that. I actually need more white on my palette because I used it all up already.
Guys, that's why I gave you a giant thing of white.
Oh, Miss, how do you open these?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I found that a sharp pencil helps the best.
All right then.
Yeah, I tried using the end of the blue brush and I think I snapped a brush. Yeah. Yeah, I know. As soon as I saw those silver things on the paints, I was like, ah, this is gonna keep kids from doing it.
I just opened it, and then I just see a little bubble pop out.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, that's good. That's exactly what they do. So I know you're working.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm gonna mix purple with light blue to make lavender.
Ooh.
I would also have a big thing of white in there. Did you get the cup of white, Martin, from the school? Did they give you like an extra cup of white?
Was it that? Yeah. Was it that bottle? It's like a bottle of yellow.
Doesn't sound right. There should be like a salsa cup. It looks like sour cream.
No, I don't think so. Like, I don't think I got a palette either because I was looking for my palette.
You need to ask for that.
Oh, I thought they gave that with the thing.
No, there's a list of supplies that you need to ask for because some kids have already come to school and gotten palettes.
Oh, it's just when I went over there, they just asked me, oh, for what class and I said art.
Yeah, you have to request certain items, otherwise they won't give it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't want to give out double of things. That's why, because a lot of kids already have the palettes and the cups of white.
Oh, okay then. Then I'm just gonna use some plates that I have.
Nice. Yeah.
These plastic plates.
That works great. I think I'll add darker values around the nose because on the mask I wouldn't want to lose like that nose shape. And maybe mix more. So I'm going back to like mix more of the warmer colors to get like some highlights in. Adding some orange and yellow and the yellow ochre again and lots of white. And you just kind of have to go back and forth between the colors to kind of like, if you did what I did and like ran out of a color, you have to kind of try and find what you had earlier. And it just takes a little bit of experimentation, a little bit of mixing, a little bit of patience. And getting in some highlights. And adding more like value to what I already have. By like adding more layers, like trying things out so that I know how to mix these colors when I'm making my mask. It's kind of like now's the time to like mess everything up. But acrylics are pretty forgiving, so if you feel like you want to change something, it's pretty easy to go back and layer on top. So I'm gonna paint the extensions now. I'm trying to think of what colors, because I know I want to use like a blue over here. Maybe orange. Orange to me is like very bright and happy. But I don't want to use straight up orange out of the paint like tube, so I'm gonna mix my own. And I already have the colors in my palette for that. So we can make different values of orange by adding some red. Just gonna do that over here. So some bright red orange. And that's going to be like the paint for my extensions. I'm going to add a little bit more water because I'm finding like when I'm painting with acrylic on paper, it needs more water than it would if you were like painting on a canvas or like maybe on the mask, because the paper takes up a lot of the liquid. And I'm going to turn this so I just have an easier time painting. You can still see it. And just kind of
That looks super cool.
Thank you.
I'm glad we're recording this.
Me too. Should I redo this like with a voiceover?
You know, you could explore if you want me to speed it up later.
Oh, okay.
You could explore, I don't know, playing with that. We could talk about it later.
Okay.
But you one distinction you may want to make with kids when you're painting is the difference between blending and having a hard edge.
Right.
Yeah, so just kind of like pointing that out, and also pointing out that in order to get those smooth edges, the brush needs to be really loaded. So like
Yeah.
show that to the camera. A lot of times kids don't put very much paint on the brush and their paint is all scratchy.
Right. That also has a cool effect if that's what you're going for. But yeah, I'm trying to get like a smooth flat color right now. So I'm really like loading, we call this loading the brush because you can see like all of the paint on top of here. But I don't want to have like a ridiculous amount that it's like pouring off the edge, because I want this to have like a clear, crisp line for my extensions. And I'm just like using the edge of the brush because this is like a square brush to get like the shape that I want. And I don't have to go back to the palette every few seconds because I've loaded the brush and I like added water. But yeah, when you start running out of paint, you'll see like this. Oh, my camera's a little slow. But yeah, when you start running out of paint, you see that like the white through the paper is coming out because it's just running out of paint. So you gotta go back to the palette, like load your brush again, get all the paint on there, and then go back to coloring. It is a process. And I'm just kind of like flattening the brush out when I paint to like get as much surface area covered as I can. And I'm trying not to worry too much about getting everything perfect. Like if I paint over a part of the drawing, that's okay because you can just add more layers. Like the chain links that I drew in at the top of the head is kind of like covered now, but that's okay. You can add those in again later. So again, this is just like the first layer of like a bright red orange that I made. And I'm going to try and add some white to this to see how that looks. To make a range of values. And then I have like the smaller triangles between that, and I think I'm going to make that a lighter orange.
You know, like for the kids who are with us, I see Martin, Jamie, Adrian's in here. I don't I don't know if Adrian or Jamie are here. But it's like to make the point that so much of painting is about mixing. Right? I just feel like, and I was never taught that. It's about getting the right color. I would just rush into like putting the paint on the canvas as a younger artist.
Yeah, for sure. Like trying to get like the different values and like not using the paint straight out of the tube was something I wasn't really taught to until like quite recently, actually. And like trying to explore like how you can mix colors. Like I like how Martin was just talking about using blue and purple, like the light blue and the purple to get lavender and like maybe some white if you're trying to go for like a lighter purple. Yeah, all very cool stuff. And now I can like start adding in lighter values. It dries super quickly too, so that's the nice thing about painting with acrylics. When you need it to dry, it's dry. I think I want to add some lines or texture in here. Now it's really starting to look like the sun. And maybe like let the brush get a little bit dry and like make that texture on there with like the dry brush technique where you like are applying paint with like a dry brush onto dry and like you didn't load the brush too much and that creates like this type of effect where it kind of feathers out and has less color as it goes out. So just like fling the brush. I really like this texture. I'm going to add some white to my yellow. So it makes it kind of stand out a bit more. Against like the bright orange. Kind of like this texture I'm getting with the brush, so I'm going to keep going. And that also adds values and layers to the whole thing. Next, I'm going to color in the eye, which should be pretty fun. And for that, I'm going to need some brown, white, and maybe a little bit of red and blue. So definitely going to need a lot more white. And the thing about eyes are they're not like completely white. They have a little bit of like yellow or red in them. It's like barely noticeable, but it's there. So I'm gonna use a little yellow and like a little red to get this sort of like white of the eye color. Lots of white.
Ooh, your palette looks so pretty.
Thank you, Alex. This is starting to look like a sunflower or the sun. I kind of like it.
So are you mixing, to clarifying question, are you mixing light blue in to kind of like dull, make some colors duller, like take down the intensity?
Yeah, I actually for the eye, for like the main part of the eye, I usually do like yellow and a little bit of red with the white
Mm,
because it's kind of like a skin tone color. I want to like go look at my eye now. Sometimes it does have like that blue hue,
mhm.
so I feel like it could go either way. But I loaded my brush and I'm gonna see how this looks on the eyeball. And I painted over with the skin tone a little bit, so I'm gonna get that back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flip my page actually, so I can really roll up my sleeve. So I can get into like the corners of the eyes and add the detail. Okay, now like, yeah, I think I would go like back into like the edge and add some like blue white into this. So like I'm getting some light blue, getting some white. And yeah, that definitely mutes the color a little bit and makes it less intense and gives the eyeball more form because you're adding like these shadows into it.
Yeah, I love seeing artists like add grays at the side of eyeballs. It always
Yeah.
makes me like, I'm always like, they're so brave.
It is like a little scary to try and like get something that visually looks white to have different colors in it. But once you do it, you're like, I can actually do that. And then it looks good. I think the key here is not going overboard with the colors that you're using. Like I still have a lot of white in this. It's like that very minuscule bit of color that makes the white less intense. Okay, so now we got some blues in here. And I think the corner of our eyes also have this little like red detail I kind of like painting, so I'm going to do that. And for that, I'm just going to go back in and add some red to this white that I already made because it's more of a pink. It's not like straight up red. So some pinkish white, and I'm going to add that into like the corner here. And I'm using the tip of this pointy little brush. And then the closer you go in, it actually turns lighter. So I'm going to mix more white into this red to make it less intense. Yeah, eyes are so cool.
Yeah, Miss, I think you could do a video just painting an eye and we might get a lot of kids to do it.
Yeah,
They hopefully like Martin's doing this and it's awesome. I can see him painting.
it is. It's looking good. I'm excited to see it posted. Okay, so for the brown of the eye, also what I'm doing right now when I like transition colors is I just like rinse my paintbrush off in my water and then like dab it onto my paper towel. And my camera's a little bit slow, so it'll show you eventually. There it is. So we have like some murky water where I've like rinsed off my brushes. And now I'm gonna paint in the iris of the eye. I'm gonna get some ochre, yellow ochre, and some dark brown and mix those together. So I feel like the brown out of the tube is a little bit boring. And if I want to get it darker, maybe I'll like add some dark blue in there. See how that looks. It has kind of like a green hue to it because of the yellow ochre, but I like it. Maybe more brown to counter that. Okay, so now I've gotten like a bit of a dark brown. And I want the eye to be looking up, so I'm gonna kind of like paint the outline first. And just using like one stroke for that. It's like a U shape. And I'm holding, like keeping that line at the top of the eye here. Ooh, maybe I should have waited for the white to dry a little bit. It's kind of blending, but that's okay. And just filling that in with the rest of my brown. Oh, I kind of went over the eyelid, but that's okay too. And wear acrylics. So if you make a mistake, it's no big deal. Okay. So now to kind of get different values in the eyes, because our eyes are more than just one flat color, I'm going to go in with some darker and lighter browns. So at the top of the eye, I think I would mix some dark brown and some dark blue and see how just those two look. Adding more brown. Maybe even some red. That could be cool. Add some red to that. Ooh, now that's like a super dark brown. I wasn't sure what that would make, but now I know. So I think I would apply that to the top of the eye over here.
Miss, just so you know, I have to log on in a second and the recording will stop. So if
Okay.
you want to keep recording, you got to record it and we could combine them if you want. Like there's a way where I could edit the videos together.
Okay, that sounds good. I will keep recording on my phone then. Okay, now I'm gonna do some yellow ochre for the highlights with dark brown. And maybe I'll mix in some of the color from earlier. Okay, so now you could do that for like the little highlights that you have in your eyes. Create some textures. You'll see like those lines. It's also interesting to like do this with like the paint while it's still wet to